Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Greetings and felicitations.
Yeah, what's up?
It's been a little bit of a slow, I guess, 40K news week, but there's some rules out there. Been some previews, been some rumors.
What?
It's been mostly exciting. We got some rules for orcs and Bellacore, and there's some the Horus Heresy plastic kit starter that's probably coming out this Black Friday ish, maybe.
Man, some 30K stuff, man. That's been a minute.
Black Friday,
probably Black Friday. I mean, that's what they did with the other two. I mean, maybe it'll come out sooner.
Rob just takes information that's already occurred in the past to formulate his predictions of the future.
They've done it twice now. Come on.
I mean, since we were talking about Foundation, that's some psycho-historian shit right there. So some gangster shit. Yeah, we got a Haspil's Corner. We've got a Memorial News Desk. We've got a little Bellacore talk. But I think a lot of the action occurred today on the After Hours podcast. So
yeah, we definitely talked a lot about what is it called, value painting.
Oh yeah, there was a big hobby AMA section. So anybody who's like, how do I get in on that? You got to watch it live. But I've been keeping the VODs on the Twitch channel and put stuff in them behind the subscriber paywall there, just so it doesn't deteriorate the value of like our veterans page as well. So you have multiple opportunities to jump in and see the After Hours pregame show. And right now what we're starting with is the podcast. So let's just do our ceremonial Would You Rather by rolling out to the Cave of Wonders.
Oh, yeah. Would you rather find out that you are the worst version of yourself in the multiverse or the best version of yourself?
That's so fucking brutal.
I mean, what's the context though? Like,
if you are currently existing right now, Rob,
okay,
and you discover that of all billion versions of Rob Baer that exist in all the timelines, you are literally the best one. Meaning, whatever Rob Baer's concept as an entity who exists throughout this timeline believes is the best. You are achieving the best. How would you be comfortable with that information? Like, damn, I'm really not that
Would
tight.
you rather find out that you're the worst version?
Yeah, for me, that's easy. I would rather find out I'm the worst.
I think I would too.
Because I can handle that shit. I'm like, this is okay. I kind of knew it. I kind of suspected it. It's just confirmation. I'm just like, okay, all right, yeah, figures. All right.
Or
I don't know. Like I'm trying to figure out like are you just on like this meditation thing where you like gotta know more about, like, you're trying to like in depth like figure out more
the
about
evil
yourself?
Jinn of the Would You Rathers has inserted
like
this knowledge into your brain.
Yeah.
Just drops this knowledge bomb on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you're going to go be the one, but everyone else is going to beat your ass.
Dude, I want to be the one at the top of the pyramid, just like straight up, like I got the high ground, like punching everybody.
You find out you're the worst, and then you're like, well, there's literally no fucking way I'm going to be the one.
Exactly. You're just like waiting for the one to come take you out.
Yeah, it's just your existence. Or for the one to kill everyone and wait for you last because you're the worst, and then he gets hit by a bus while trying to take you out, and now you're the one. That's kind of your only...
Like reverse Highlander.
Yeah, like Highlander by proxy, default. Better lucky than good.
I mean...
But the genie didn't say it was the one rules. So.
No, I inserted that.
That was really an underrated movie.
What? I thought I don't know. One person who watched that movie didn't think it was awesome. I think it was appropriately rated. It's amazing.
I don't know. I suppose I'd like to know, but like I really wouldn't. I don't think me personally I would care. Like if I was the worst, or I was the one, or I was in the middle. Like I don't. It's like I don't care. Like I like to me, I'm doing the best I can, dog. Like
Very adult and mature of you, and very mentally healthy. I envy you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
No, I think me and Mike are probably looking at it clinically wrong.
I feel like I would want to find out that I'm like the best version, because if I found out I was the worst version, then like the soul crushing weight of the wasted potential would probably just destroy me.
That's why I want to find out I'm the worst version, because that's how I feel on the other side of the scale. Like, this is the best I am of me. I'm like, this is even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that means the Kenny Boucher model Nexus program is shit.
I'm looking at it from like a Princess Bride kind of. There's a quote in the Princess Bride that I adore, and it's, well, murdered by pirates is good. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, is that okay, if I'm the worst one, that means every other one is doing better than
that.
Me.
Means like you're like, that means the best Haspil's like 50 billion times better than you.
Yeah, by a lot.
I can live with that.
Awesome. It's quite the magnitude.
Now,
and you know that dude's an asshole.
Yeah,
complete asshole.
But like to the gin, so like when I find out that I'm the worst, right? Because that's what I pick. Is that like a fixed concept, or am I able to like am I able to like work on myself and then like eventually?
Time is fluid, so I mean, you know.
So I can. Okay, so cool. So it's not like I'm destined to be the worst. I can work on myself and maybe achieve better. See, I feel like that's a better path. We can't all be as enlightened as Rob.
I'm not enlightened. I'm just like, dog, I'm doing the best I can. Like, I can't do no better. I mean, I could surely do worse.
Yeah, but if you discover that like another Rob is just crushing it 50 times better than you,
I'll be like, oh,
that means you know that you can do better.
But no, you can't. Like, because your circumstance might be different.
Yeah, but it's the same baller Rob Baer brain.
Yeah, but you know.
Okay, I'm not going to count all the versions of Kenny that were born rich. Like, I won't count them. They're inadmissible.
They don't count.
Like,
they had a natural.
I'm going to take those like 60 million versions of me off the list, and like, let me go down to this guy. First guy on the list that wasn't born rich. What's he doing? Oh, he sucks dick for a living. I get it now.
Yeah.
Well, I've always thought about it. You know, like it's a Kenny. You know, it's always in the back of my mind. Good one, Wyatt. All right.
Nah.
Rob, you do you. You can't do no better. Your circumstances are as such. Do the news.
Do my best news that I can possibly do today. Well, we don't really have a GW section because Dominion's finally coming out this Saturday. So if you're able to scoop that up from your local game store, I actually spoke with a lot of game stores over the past week or so, and a lot of them were actually strangely okay with having their allocations cut because they're like, I haven't even sold the 15, you know, because a lot of stores ordered 30 at first, and then they got cut to 15. And a lot of every store I've talked to is like, I haven't even pre-sold the 15 they said I could have, which is strange. And I'm like,
well, I mean, also the summer.
Nobody saw this coming, because like even back when I was working the shop, every time we would get a big Age of Sigmar release, they'd be on the shelf for months afterwards because it's just not as popular.
Well, I think there's a couple of factors in play. You know, like I don't know if we talked about this on here, but you know, on GW's site, they basically said that they made 33,000 some copies, which
we're talking about
I think is roughly the same number as Indominus that they made, which I think is kind of that's a cool move.
I mean, we're rehashing something we literally just talked about, so I just want to remind you of that before we go and launch into that.
That's
again.
fine. So, just a lot of stores were actually okay with having their allocations cut. You know, just update to what we talked about before. And I'm just like, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like,
but But postulate further on that. Like, it's a new release for a new edition that should be very popular. But you have told me specifically, and I have experienced it for myself, this May, June, going into July, this is the worst I've ever seen it for all interests that are outside of, like, going outside, hanging out.
Well, I almost think it's a perfect storm. Like, a lot of people are coming off quarantine. They're running around, dancing in the streets, getting out of the house, doing their thing. Not a lot of people are really dialed into the hobby right now, which is understandable 100%. It's notoriously a slow time for game stores in general. As a
baseline, like always. Historically.
Yeah. So, like, we're already kind of at the bottom, and it's like a very poor time to be putting out a major release, I think. But, will they all sell by Christmas? Yeah, absolutely. Probably. I don't think it's an issue in general. I just think, a lot of stores are pretty happy to.
It's kind of interesting because GW knows their sales. They obviously have people attached to this. Like, they know. I'm almost like, was that just like, yeah, like, we're just going to make sure there's enough out there in the market right now. Like, and so it's handled. Like,
yeah, it could even be almost a little bit of reverse sales strategy where they're like, well, we cut their allocations. So when those all sell, we're the only place to get more.
But they gave them more than they would actually have needed, unlike in the past. So, it's almost, hindsight's 2020, but it almost seemed, this is a much better position to be in, to where you have inventory that is available for your customers, that is hype and people want it. And you don't just, you have it and it's going to be on the shelves. The next sale that's going to show up, the Black Fridays, the going into Christmas. That's a much better position to be in.
My concern, and I think a lot of store owners' concerns, that at least, the ones I pull and the ones I speak with, and I speak with big distributors, some of the biggest movers out there, semi-weekly. And, everybody mood is pretty happy right now, to be quite honest. Everybody's super worried 2 weeks ago, but it kind of shook out that they're like, things are really soft right now. So maybe this was good. Mm-hmm. I ain't arguing with it, because it is a little soft right now. And I get it.
How many setup, man? You softballed me so many. I just want you to be proud of me right now, Rob.
What?
How many times you said it's a little soft right now, and I didn't unmute myself?
That's what she said.
I just need you to acknowledge the maturity level.
I appreciate
my growth.
Anecdotally,
I appreciate your growth, Kenny.
Anecdotally, I don't have any proof outside just a couple of people I talk to and myself. Right. Like, I'm getting the new rule book, but I'm not getting Dominus because I don't have time to get to these models, like, remotely, because there have been so many big releases and everything building up to this. I've got a huge hobby backlog right now. And so I'm like, by the time I get to these new Stormcasts for my Stormcast army, it'll probably be a year.
I'm glad you brought that up, Haspil, because that was actually something that a lot of the store owners and business people I spoke with mentioned too, was that they had pre-ordered, that they had pre-ordered more of the rule book and the General's Handbook than Dominion. So it seems like there is interest in a new edition of Sigmar, just maybe not necessarily like you're saying for the box and the new models. But yeah, it's weird that all these different threads are kind of coming together. It seems to be quite the case. So this weekend we'll obviously get we're going to get some Dominion previews for some of the new model releases that will, kind of like they did with Necrons and Space Marines. And then on Sunday we'll get whatever's coming out. It might be Beast Snaggers, might be the start of Orcs. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Did you say Starta Orcs?
The start of Orcs.
Oh, I was like, I like that. Let's call it the Orc Starta.
The Orc Starta.
The Orc Starta box.
I think they said it was an army box because everything in it is supposedly new.
Yeah, plus the decks. It's like 2 units of Beast Snagger Boys, Beast Snagger Riders, and 2 characters with the new codex.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, and the what's his name? He's like the grunt, the Grot Herd with the beard.
The hair.
That guy.
He's Waz. No, not Wazdog.
Top 3 best orc models of all time.
So That's basically the GW model update. Although we do have a little bit of a new release update. The Imperium magazine, that's the like the collector's magazine. They do like a bunch of issues, and you get the stuff on sprue inside of it. And if you collect them all, you get basically like 2 huge armies. We've talked about it before on the site. I think Fohammer did a big breakdown of everything you get and all the price values and what issues would be like the hot ones to get and things like that. And there's an exclusive Ultramarine captain in there too, I believe it was, that looks pretty dope. So it was all supposed to be released by now, but there was some sort of issue where the stuff didn't. Here in the States, it actually went up for pre-order. And I know some people have actually got it here in the States, but apparently there was a high demand and they had to turn it off. And they're going to roll it back out in 2022. I've seen pictures of people here in the States with a shipping address on their label with the models. They've sent me pictures. So I know it came out here in the States. I don't know if they imported it from the UK or not, but apparently that it's hard to say for sure. But in the UK, the magazine will be going on pre-order or going up for sale starting in August 25th. And if you're interested in it, I think we have the breakdown of the first 4 issues over on Spiky Bits. But like I said, Fohammer has a whole bunch more of the breakdowns as well. Either way, it looks to be a good value.
Yeah, it looks really, there's like, it might have been on Fohammer's site that I saw the whole collection because there was terrain in there too. If you get all the magazines, if you get the whole, like, I guess, first volume, there was terrain and everything too. And it was like 2 solid big armies.
I think the cost, you know, I had the breakdown on it, but the cost of getting all the magazines, I want to say it was only a couple $100. And for what you got there, it was a very good value.
What a fucking dope concept, man.
I think it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Cause like that like reminds me of the old days, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm talking like big league chewing gum, mail in like these UPCs and get your fucking, you know what I mean? That's a hype way to interact. I like that.
It's definitely different. You know, I think it's that Hatchet Partworks, I believe is what they're called. They're the ones that do it. And so it's technically, if I had to say like the best 3 things GW is doing right now, that's probably number 3. But it's not necessarily them. It's kind of like a licensee type deal, I believe. But it's definitely one of the better values out there when it comes to, you know, GW in general. So be looking for that. That should be out starting in the UK on August 25th. I did want to talk about, since we kind of got into this on the webcast, the pre-show, was Monument Hobby's new brushes. They have 3 new sets of brushes. They have a sable set of brushes. I think it's 5 brushes in each one. That's $56. It's just your normal natural hair brush. $56 might seem a little expensive.
It's not normal. It's heavily upgraded from the past.
Yeah, they're way better quality brushes than I think they were called Bomb Wicks in the past. Mm-hmm. Also, everything has gone up in price too, just in general. So
yeah, there was actually like a fucking massacre because of like COVID or something, like, and they lost a lot of.
I think the ones in Denmark, they had to put down the minxes, I believe.
Yeah, so it's actually a sable hair shortage right now. So it's going to be a thing for a while. So you're going to have a harder time finding good quality paintbrushes at the prices we were used to. Especially if you're used to that natural sable, right?
Yeah. They also have synthetic that's not that much cheaper. It's $49 for the synthetic set. I was using some of those today because kind of use them as a little bit of a dry brush, but I needed that control and that detail work. So I wasn't worried about, them fraying and things like that because they got a really good snap to them.
If you go to my Twitch channel, I did a huge no movie magic demo of the Pro Synth. They're easy to remember. It's Pro Synthetic, Pro Sable, Pro Dry Brush. That's the names of these 3 sets. And so I love sable brushes for a certain type of work, and I use my synthetics for like edge highlights and stuff like that. And live on stream on Tuesday, which I gave away some of these sets too, Jason, the proprietor of these brushes, came on and like basically dared me. He's like, well, do all that shit you're about to do, but use the synthetic. And I was like, fine. It's pretty compelling evidence. It's live. The VOD's up there. No fucking movie magic. You will be shocked by what can actually be done with this fat number 4 synthetic sable. That's why it's only like $10 cheaper, because it's, even though it's not sable hair, it is very close and has some of the advantages of synthetic engineered into it. And so these prices are not really that big of a deal. Like this $50 price tag is for how many brushes you get and how long they last when you clean them.
Especially when you compare them to GW's new synthetic brush prices.
Oh, we just GW brushes are not admissible. Like, of all the things that GW does, like, realistically, the Citadel paints are fine. They're just overpriced. Like, if all paints were 99 cents a pot, you wouldn't even think twice about most of the GW paints. You know what I'm saying? They're fine. Like, they have many good hobby equipment pieces, like lots of cool add-ons. Even their brush hand, their model holder is great. So, you know, it's all these things are fine, except the brushes. I don't understand what's going on over there. They're bad. Don't buy them. Literally buy any other brush you can find on the internet. It's the one weird thing about GW hobby products. Inadmissible in court.
Speaking of dry brushes too, the dry brush set is $42.50, which it's 5 brushes.
I couldn't even pull the brushes out. I feel like there were so many brushes in there.
There's 3 poofy brush dry brushes and 2 wedge brush dry brushes in that set. And then the full length handle, which is super nice. I was using them heavily today on, I was dry brushing up some of the Marvel Crisis Protocol, the new X-Force figures to do some pre-shading and stuff. But I was pretty impressed with them. I like them better than the Army Painter ones.
And if you guys are curious about what Rob's talking about, jump in the old Long War Discord. If you listen to this and you're not aware of it, there is a Long War Discord. It's not hard to find the link on the internet. You could DM somebody. I'm sure somebody can give you a link. But the pictures of this Crisis Protocol dry brush workup is actually really easy to see and find. And you can see all the comments in that whip section. We talked about it a lot in the pregame show. So again, if you want to see all Rob's notes on that, it's really impressive work using these new dry brushes. And I was able to get really good control because they're a full length dry brush or a full length handle. I like the Army Painter Masterclass dry brushes, but the handles are a little shorter and they are like half the price as these Monument Hobbies ones. So, it's kind of like, well, do you want to, which one do you want? At that point, it's like vote with your hobby dollars. Like, I mean, I know which one I like now, but I still have the other set. It is what it is, but I think all 3 of these brush sets from Monument Hobbies are really good and definitely worth taking a look at. He keeps coming out with some amazing products. We talked about the brush vaults that they recently put out that, you can actually put your brushes into. They kind of stand them upright. Like, what was it, Kenny? Pool cues. And, It's a great product. I know there was a dick joke in there. That's why it took me so long to answer. I was like, didn't I have a dick joke for that vault? Because you were so fucking hype on those things.
I was really surprised how good they were.
I mean, like, you were like irrationally hype on a brush storage device.
By the way, at Haspil, I have my old GW Zipper Aquila paintbrush holder. Do you want it? It's got an Aquila on it.
I think he's acknowledging yes.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to put up some links, but yeah, I want it. It has an Aquila on it.
You may have been muted, but I feel like everyone heard you through the ethereal nature
through
of
the ether.
Yeah.
It was like a psychic blast going out.
I think I have a nosebleed.
Yeah. It was definitely a mine.
This is hilarious, but I have like a collection of Aquila decals that I just put on things that don't have Aquilas on them.
Right,
like my chest cock.
Now it's perfect.
He's like, my new Nikes, my new glasses. I can't stop. Is something wrong with me, guys?
These classic Air Jordans that I have from like a 98 Aquila. Yeah. Did we just lose Wyatt?
Yeah, we did. Playthrough.
Just one playthrough. Dang. Pretty happy with those. All the Monument Hobbies new stuff. Cromlech did some previews for their new line of Primaire size Space Marine bodies, upgrades, weapons, all sorts of things. They're calling them the Knights of Baal, BA''AL. So as you can imagine, they might have something to do with great alternatives to Blood Angels. There's a cat in my lap now.
Haspil, is it Baal or Baal?
That's what's crazy, right? Is it depends, right? So if you're speaking about the Babylonian or Hittite god, it's Baal. But if you're talking about the Blood Angels homeworld, it's Baal. Even though they're spelled the same way. Isn't it very likely that it was drawn from Baal?
Oh yeah,
it's totally likely, and I could be completely wrong too. It could be pronounced Baal, but I also think like in the lore and all the audiobooks, it's pronounced Baal. I don't think they say Baal.
I was going to Haspil for my.
I heard it called Baal when I was taking like history classes about the Hittites and stuff like that and Babylonians. But
word.
Well, either way,
who knows?
We all know what we're talking about. So definitely look for that. Their Sons of Thor, not Space Wolves, came out recently. Great looking stuff. Size up perfect to Primera stuff. I think they call them primary Legionnaires. Always great stuff over there. And Atomic Mass Games, that's the miniatures division of Asmodee, formerly FFG. Put out some previews for the new Star Wars Legion Yoda and Wookiee Warriors. And I like the Yoda figure because it's two figures. One where he's like basically got his cane out and he's doing like the Force hand. He's doing the hand thing, getting the X-Wing out of the swamp. And the other one is him just like Breaking Bad with the lightsaber in like the council chamber or something. So both classic Yoda poses, great looking stuff. Those I think will be coming out in a month or two. They just started the preview, so it's probably got a little bit of time to simmer on the old previews. Then, GW is actually hiring for a presenter for their bat reps, which I assume are going to be for Warhammer
for the
Plus.
app or Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, they put a notice out. I think it's got till the 11th of July, and then they're going to close that and start.
Is that a UK posting?
Yeah, you got to live in Nottingham or move to Nottingham. Who knows? So check that out if you're interested in. If you have every army, you play every army, you know everything about everything, and want to be always on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Speaking of GW, there is also a preview Saturday. We kind of talked about that a little bit. And Joy Toy, we got another Joy Toy update. Anything, Kenny? No. Okay.
No, I'm gonna do it.
No, I'm just very curious. I'm really down for these. Like they look great.
They put out like basically pictures of the finished product. They're 4-inch, 3.75 4-inch tall, G.I. Joe style figures with their dope ass paint jobs now. And it looks like the set of 5, whether you want the Incursors or the Infiltrators, they're going to be $70 for the set. Now they did like a little pre-order that was like in like a TikTok room or something like that, and then one of the WeChats or something. So they didn't go up for a general pre-order, and hopefully they'll go up at some point for like a general pre-order, and then maybe more people can get them. Don't know yet, but that was the prices that they were selling them for.
That's pretty cheap.
I feel like it's
not bad.
No, I don't think it is at all. Especially like one Bandai figures, $100. When they come out, obviously they're all more than that now, but the McFarlane figures are $20 each.
Yeah, the McFarlane figures
they're a little bigger.
Defy reality and how affordable they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, the McFarlane 3 just went up on pre-order. The new sister, it's the same sister model, but it's just different color. I think it's Bloody Rose. A Necron Flayed one and a Necron Flayed one in artist proof form.
Artist proof.
And The description for the Necron Flayed one says something about that there would be a Chase exclusive, like a different colored one. But they didn't really elaborate. So if you get that, post some pictures of it because it might be pretty dope looking.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they're on pre-order right now. It looks like they would start shipping out around the end of July from what I saw. So, but other than that, that's pretty much what's happening out there right now. I think Kenny had a tournament to talk about that's coming up soon.
Yeah, let's plug Dice Hammer. They've got an open GT. These guys are out here in SoCal. Nick Card runs it with a couple other people. Well, I mean, there's more than just Nick Card involved, but they've been cultivating a pretty solid tournament scene down here in ITC format. They've been running team events. They've been running at this awesome bowling alley for like a couple of years.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, these guys are back, and July 10th through 11th, I think they're shooting for 80 signups, and they've expanded their area. I think now they have a conference center. Built off of the Irvine lanes. So they're saying it's like 3,600 square feet. So it's looking pretty hype, 6 rounds, 80 players, ITC major. You can definitely just, search Dice Hammer on Facebook, find their channel. I'm going to put it in Discord for everyone at home to, see this link in the old promos category, which, will be a category that stays on Discord for certain things like this that are time sensitive. That we'll have another thing to talk about here in a second. But check these guys out. They run a tight ship, really good community, hard games, good competitive vibe, sick location. It's Dice Hammer. Easy to discover these guys. But that's it for me. Haspil?
Yeah, so you guys may get tired of me talking about this, but I have a bunch of stuff coming out soon. And the first of these, like today is our first day where we're trying to do a concerted kind of publicity push for it on all our social media and everything like that. So of course I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. And, I'm in an anthology it frankly was an honor to be in this anthology. There's some serious writers in here like Jane Linskull, Alan Dean Foster, Kat Rambo, a whole slew of other people. And I wrote a story called The Penultimate Stand of Pinagraki. And these are all sci-fi Western stories. So if you are fans of Firefly or Outland or Cowboy Bebop or any other stuff like that, Trigun, you're going to want to look at this, anthology. And I'm going to throw a link in the chat again. But the link is up on the Discord and everything. It's available pretty much wherever they sell books, Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, which is kind of neat because if you buy that, like local independent bookstores get a cut. And of course the big, 600-pound gorilla, Amazon. It has them all. So I would appreciate it if you go check it out. And if it sounds interesting to you, go pre-order it. It will be out, unfortunately, November 2nd, but that's the nature of the publishing industry. It is slow. That's really all I've got for that.
I just updated the promos category on Discord again, guys. Hit that Discord. It's been popping. We're going to have new integrations coming out soon, new links. I feel like we're going to be linking like Wyatt's platform to it, Haspil's and Rob's with more integrations and more cool, fun activities.
Yeah. Unify the Discords.
Mm-hmm.
So much room for activities.
That's really the goal at the end of the day.
Bring the Discords together, in the darkness bind them.
Till all are one.
Yes.
He didn't even know what he just agreed to, Haspil.
Wait,
you have to say it in your Peter Cullen voice.
Did I just agree to carry a ring to Mordor?
Sort of.
Yeah, so how do you feel about walking?
I'm not a fan. Like, it's actually
trying to get with those eagles.
Top 3 things I hate most in life. Well, let's jump into our meat potatoes. We did tease at Bellacore. Talked about it a little bit already, and we're going to kick it out over to Wyatt.
Well, we got a bunch of new information about Bellacore recently. I think we'd already seen his profiles for his Blade of Shadows. Still pretty cool. When he does the piercing strike where he's stabbing for the heart, can't take invul saves against it, which is pretty sick. And D3 plus 3 damage is not to be scoffed at either. But when we got some of his psychic powers, which are pretty cool. He's got the Void Slivers, which is a Witchfire charge value of 5. And it lets you select one enemy model within 12 inches and visible to Be'lakor. You draw a line between any part of the Psyker's base and any part of the selected model's base or hull. The selected model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If that unit contains 11 or more models, it suffers D3 mortal wounds instead. Every other enemy unit that this line passes over or through suffers 1 mortal wound. And again, if it contains 11 or more, it suffers D3.
Oh, wow. He can just drag some ghetto smites through multiple units?
Yeah.
For warp charge 5?
Oh, yeah.
And he can still smite if he needs to?
Pretty efficient, yeah. And then he's got Betraying Shades, Witchfire with a charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to Be'lakor. Select up to 6 models in that unit and add together the unmodified attacks characteristic of those models. Roll a number of d6 equal to the total. For example, if 5 of the selected models had an attacks characteristic of 2 and 1 had an attack characteristic of 3, you would roll 13 d6. If the result of the psychic test was 11 or more, add 1 to each dice result. For each roll of a 6, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Wait, is he calling upon their shades to strike at them from the ether?
And their own shadows are stabbing them in their booties. So it's if you throw
that is a
unit of witches power. Or something, you're just buckets of d6s and every 6 is a mortal wound. It's a really good psychic power.
Yo, I love it.
How many attacks does that unit of 30 boys have? Oh, 50? Okay.
What an interesting. But you have to pick 6 guys to be the attackers.
Yeah.
But that's cool because there's a lot of good powers out there that are based on rolling a bunch of dice trying to fish for 6s. I love that which is a style, right? It's a style. Mortarion has access to some stuff like this too, but it's the style is 7. You roll 7 dice, right? Beat their toughness or this many. So I love the style of this is he's making the shades fight them.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
the
a
narrative.
Really interesting psychic power, yeah.
But the interaction is still how many dice can I cherry pick out of this power to maximize my 6s? It's a very cool way of doing it. I love it.
Yeah, it's got there's definitely a bell curve to it because if you can only pick 6 models, then you want to pick units that are pretty elite, right?
Yeah, for people who fuck and who are also more susceptible to this too innately.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I think we've already seen this, but we can briefly go over. He's got 2 rules for defensive capabilities. He's got Immortal Vigor, which gives him his 4-up invul save. And each time a ranged attack is made against this model, subtract 1 from the attack's wound roll. And then he's got Shadow Form. Each time an attack is made against this model, your opponent cannot re-roll the hit roll. Each time an attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll.
Is that one attached to range?
No. It's just so he's -1 to wound from guns, but -1 to hit all the time.
And we had a little discussion about the implications of these 2 rules, and this is not new, as Wyatt said. But when you have a baked-in -1 to hit with no rerolls allowed, that's pretty good because because -1 to hit doesn't really mean all that much. Which is why -2 to hit became such a big thing, and then they had to change that. Because -1 to hit you can get around it a lot with +1s to hit, a bunch of rerolls, this and that. But when you say you can't reroll, so you can't reroll the ones, you can't use your chapter master bullshit. That changes the math big time, especially even if you have a thing where it's okay, well I'm +1 to hit again, so I'm back to base, but you don't get to do all those other things you bank on, reroll the dice.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why Mortarion is so nasty with Gloaming Blue is once he touches you with his contagion range, it really messes up those units that rely on reroll synergies.
Yeah, and he's a good comparison, right? The cool thing about Be'lakor is that's just like a thing he has, not dependent on being near things.
Yeah.
Whereas Mortarian's is awesome because he can go to you, inflict you with it, and so no matter what you want to do, no matter who you're targeting, you're inflicted with similar things. So I love the stylistic rules we're getting in 9th edition, but also how like they narratively are slightly different for each faction, or the shade. It was power was a recent example, but when you stack that with the -1 to wound and the 4 invulnerable, like that's kind of like again baked in transhuman because he's tough in the 7. So like most of the time, he's pushing people into wounding on 4s and 5s, maybe 6s based on the weapon, the damage profile. So he is really good at mitigating that first volley. Like the wounds get through, they can't mitigate that. There's no field of pain, but like he is a tough customer, to actually get through. And one of the things we just realized 20 minutes before the show or this podcast is that he's only 16 wounds.
Yeah. And so he can take advantage of obscuring and the bodyguard roll.
Yeah. So
that's really bad.
Although, other than the general lookout, sir, is there any Chaos Space Marine unit that has the bodyguard rule? I don't, off the top of my head, I can't.
So he doesn't get to use lookout, sir, because he's over 10. So only bodyguard. So like, do Deathstroud Terminators? I think the only ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Deathstroud is tied to Death Guard.
That's true.
It probably says Death Guard character, which I can look up here in a second.
Yeah, because like I don't.
The only other ones I think would even potentially do it are Chosen, but I don't think they do.
No, they definitely don't have a bodyguard rule.
Yeah,
someone in the chat will probably beat me to this.
Space Marine Codex has bodyguard.
No, it was.
I don't think so.
Definitely not. But I mean, we don't even know Bellacor's keywords yet because we have his IKEA rules. So we don't even know like what the soup potential for this guy is because he's probably a Lord of War. Like,
yeah, because like the only new keyword that we've seen is when they start talking about his warlord traits and stuff. So it says if Be'lakor is your warlord, then he must have the Shadow Lord warlord trait. And it says in your command phase, select one friendly Disciples of Be'lakor unit, excluding vehicles, within 9 inches of this warlord. To start your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So there's his like chapter master Primarch. Also got
the answer. It's tied to Plague Company. It's even harder to do.
Oh, okay. Weird.
So, yeah. So,
and so there we have Disciples of Be'lakor. So that's either going to be,
Armies of Renown.
Army of Renown, but I think more likely it's going to be like the same thing as like a Legion keyword, if it's going to be with Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah,
but those are the two things. Like we don't know for sure yet because they.
Yeah, but Be'lakor's always had that like he can float between the two. So
yeah, so I mean, it's either going to be a Legion or.
But he never had the Heretic Astartes keyword.
Yeah.
So he couldn't be the recipient of like a warp time and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what new keyword they throw on top so that this does occur. I expect that they will do something, especially for this hot, sexy ass new model that. But I want to just circle back for a second. That can take advantage of obscuring terrain. And though he is huge, wing width wise, a lot of big GTs have the double L's in the middle of the table. Getting it like every turn, you literally can't shoot Be'lakor. And you also stack that shit on top of him that he has, like we just talked about, his damage mitigators. That's pretty vicious. And when he's sub 400 points.
Yeah. Because like in this book is kind of he's like the flagship for this book. And so it makes me think that this Disciples of Be'lakor thing is going to be closer to what they did with Fabius Bile, where he kind of has his own like war band, but it's like a pseudo Legion keyword kind of thingy. So that's why I think it's going to be more than a Army of Renown.
Man, I hope so.
Let's see. And then he has like a basic reroll hit roll of 1 for Disciples of Be'lakor unit, excluding vehicles within 6. And these are not keyworded to like core or anything. So I'm wondering if that may have something to do with it as well. Or they're just doing that because the Chaos Space Marine Codex hasn't been updated to 9th. They don't have the core keyword. So it's not super like future proofed or.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll just be like open end accessible to demons.
Yeah,
like he's been with this new way of interacting, like you said, the Disciples of Bellicor, with Chaos Space Marine elements, and there'll be some. I think it might be cool and unique and in between the two, as it draws from the parent codex.
Yeah. It's like I think it's going to end up being something like the Creations of Bile, where it's like a pseudo legion where you can draw.
That's a good frame of reference. I think that's a good, that's good insight. Like I agree with you on that. But I just want to say to people, man, think about this guy. What is he? You say, what is he? 360 points?
Yeah, currently he's 360.
360. I would I would play this guy all day, every day, man, twice on Sunday. This guy fucks. Whenever he touches, he solves a lot of problems when he touches people. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my super unit with all, I don't give a fuck, you're dead. Strom, I'll do piercing strike. Just,
he definitely hurts custodies.
He mercs, right? He mercs. He's big. He can hide. He has a lot of damage mitigation built in. Very solid, top tier, S tier damage mitigation. And he's got some spicy abilities to deploy mortal wounds as he moves up.
He's also got a really spicy stratagem. So it says, use this stratagem in any phase. When a saving throw made for a Disciples of Bellicor model from your army fails, like a save, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0.
Whoa.
Oh my fucking
you can't,
God.
So it clarifies you cannot use it if Bellicor is not on the battlefield. So like when and it also specifies model. So you can't do this with like.
Well, and also attack. It specifies attack too, like one save, one. Yeah. So you don't get to be like, for all these attacks. No, it's one save.
So for this is that clutch 2 CP. Like I need this thing to live.
Oh my God, Bellicor has S tier survivability. I didn't know about that because he can play that himself. It says Bellicor Disciple unit, not infantry model, nothing like that.
Yeah, it just says Disciples of Bellicor model.
Because he is going to have that keyword himself.
Well, you would think, yeah.
Like, so.
I would, yeah.
Holy shit. So. You run that guy up. You get a turn where you hide. You bounce over a fucking wall. You fucking just stab some Blade Guard veterans to death like they don't matter. Jump into this unit. Then some dudes fall back. Then they're like, we're going to shoot you with our eradicators. We're going to do our thing. You're like, cool, you're right. -1 to hit. Okay, factored in. No rerolls. You got it factored in. Oh, cool. You did a couple wounds. -1 to wound, though. Back to 5s, baby. Or back to 4s. Oh, shit. We only did 3 wounds. Oh, damn. All right, I got 4 bravos. Oh, shit. I failed all 3 on Bellicor. And he's like, okay. This one, 0 damage. And then you live. Right? So like all your shit is in place and then you have some bad luck at the end.
I wonder what the,
you know what I'm saying?
I think the order of operations on this is you have to play it when the saving throw is failed. So you can't actually see the result of the die.
No. Yeah. So I'm saying it's like, so 3 eradicator wounds made it through. Here's my 3 4 vulnerables. I throw them all in the air. They're all failed.
You fail all of them. Okay. Well, one of those
is 0, baby. Like,
okay.
And then
just hope the other 2 don't merc him.
Well, you can't. It'd be physically possible.
Well, it's D6 plus 2.
Yeah. Oh, I guess.
Okay, it's like, okay, so it's like if they roll a perfect.
They have to roll a perfect suite to kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, where it's like an average suite to kill me the other way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, that is an incredible get out of jail free card. Bellicor fucks. Oh, that's official.
Yeah, he's a super cool boy.
50% chonky.
Damn, what a sick stratagem. And I love those powers too. I mean, dog, literally like that line, that Warp Charts 5 line, you get in the clutch and you're just like, here's a bunch of free mortal wounds here, this over here. Now let me hit you with a smite and throw this down.
There's more to come too because it's a whole table called Noctic powers.
And they're available I think they said it was only 3 though.
So it just says, one of the little blurbs in the article. It just says like one of the Noctic powers available to Bellicor and his minions is this Wreathed in Shades, and compared with the other 2, that's 3. But I didn't see anywhere.
What level Psyker is he?
I don't think it says.
Yeah, it won't say that on the IKEA sheet.
God damn it!
If I were to guess, he's probably going to know 3 cast 2.
Yeah, that's likely.
I don't because like. Isn't the only ones that can cast 3 like the Greater Demon of Change and Magnus?
Aramon. There's I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not it was like they were kind of handing it out at first for just smaller psychers, and then they just kind of flipped it. Like, you can deny this amount, or this amount, but you can only cast 2. So, like, you're likely correct.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like Morty, where he knows 3, cast 2 tonight too.
Damn, what a fucking beast, man! I'm just so now impatient to see what the Disciples of Be'lakor actually is. Man. Somebody needs to get that leak, post that shit on some PDFs cryptically on some imagers real quick for me.
Only for you.
Just for me, man.
Yep.
It just, that's nasty. See, that makes me, that creativity that's all in Be'lakor, why I have hopes for the orcs.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm very excited for orcs
because that's that's a sequence of weird things that are very creative that work together to create this interestingly frustrating to crack nut.
Yeah, we've gotten some info from the playtesters that the cluster of codexes like Dark Eldar, Sisters, Orcs, Thousand Suns, and Grey Knights were all kind of playtested in a batch. And it kind of speaks to, or AdMech is in there too. It kind of speaks to the power of that lineup of codexes. And so word on the street is that Orcs is supposed to be pretty spicy, as are the Thousand Suns and Grey Knights.
All these spicy rules for Be'lakor give me hope for the Orcs and the damage mitigation department. And we did talk about this a lot today, me and Wyatt, on tactics and in the pregame show on this very show. So if you want to go back and hear our thoughts on it, our answer to that question may surprise you.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about orcs. I got my 3D printer churning them out right now.
Yeah, I know. I saw them in Whip, looking sexy.
Oh yeah.
Over on Discord. Well, I think we came in and did everything we said we were going to do. We promoted Haspil's pre-sale, which is also on the Discord promo channel. We got the new Monument Hobbies paintbrushes out in the market, and people just need to know about that. We got to talk about a GT in the SoCal area coming up. Rob?
Haspil, take us out.
No. You got to listen to the way people talk. You don't say affirmative or some shit like that. You say no problemo. And if someone comes on to you with an attitude, you say eat me. And if you want to shine them on, it's hasta la vista, baby.